All right, so today is going to mostly turn into a bit of a work day. But what I want to do first, before we turn it into too much of a work day, is I want to talk to you about your quiz on Friday. Tomorrow we have a lab that you guys in class will be doing. Those of you at home can just use the day to kind of study and kind of figure out where you guys are at with that. But so Friday's quiz, there are 5 questions on it. And I know that seems like not a lot. However, I'm going to show you what one of the questions is actually 20 spaces and 10 points. So they get kind of large. So 5 questions, 31 points. Basically, everything from Monday is fair game. Okay. Also, we're going to take, and you might see one more atoms, ions, and isotopes. You'll have to count it and be able to fill in the same chart you're filling in now. So make sure you know how to do that. And then you'll see a almost exact replica of bell work number 2. So what I want to do is kind of show you what you're going to need to be able to do for your quiz. So if you would find in your worksheet or in your packet past the atoms, ions, and isotopes, we're going to come back. We are going to finish that. But it says atomic structure bell work number 2. Atomic structure bell work number 2. Awesome. I have actually put a document in the quiz that looks exactly like this. Okay, so you're going to have to be able to fill this type of thing out in order to do your quiz. Okay, so I can help you along maybe with the first one. Remember, atomic number, if you want to, kind of make it easy on yourself, and these are all going to change. I'm not saying this is the same order as the one on your quiz, so people can't just memorize, oh, the first column is the third column. But atomic number always tells us what number. Atomic number tells us the number of protons. Thank you. Okay. And it's the identity of the atom. So while we don't know the atomic number, we know that this is selenium, correct? So we're going to find selenium. Can anybody find a selenium? He's over here on the right side a little bit. Talk to me. How many protons does selenium have? 34. So that means that these both columns are 34. You can see the selenium off of here has 79, or you always use what is given. There's going to be only one tricky one I can think of on the quiz. You always give the information that's given. If I have 34 protons and 79 is my mass number, remember the only other thing in mass is the combination of protons and neutrons. So with these two, I need to subtract. 79 minus 34 is going to give me 45 neutrons. Then we have the last thing that everybody, if I got one question yesterday, I got this. I don't know how to do electrons and I don't know how to do charge. When you're thinking about charge and electrons, okay, the only things that have charge are protons are positive, electrons are negative. So when you're doing charge, you simply look at which one do you have more of. Do I have more negatives or more positives in the selenium? I have more negatives. How many more negatives do I have? 2. Okay, awesome. Then I'll do one example on the back because I'm guaranteeing you will see something exactly like this on the quiz, and then I'm going to give you a moment to study, and then I'm going to go over it, and then I'll let you finish the worksheet that we started yesterday. Okay, these are 2 isotopes of each other. You're going to see this set up on the quiz. These are isotopes of each other. Remember, the number at the top tells you the mass. The number at the top tells you the mass. Please note, and this is where sometimes people get confused, it says, please keep the isotopes neutral. So you can assume that both of these have a neutral charge. Strontium, Sr, way over here on the left-hand side of the periodic table. How many protons in strontium? Strontium, 38. Okay, if he is neutral, he also has 38 electrons. And remember, protons and neutrons have to add up in order to get the mass of 84. So I'm going to take 84 minus 38 to see how many more neutrons I have, and that is 46. Now, I have an isotope of strontium. It is also neutral, so I'm not going to change my protons and I'm not going to change my electrons. But the only thing that you change between isotopes is the number of neutrons. This has 46 neutrons to get to 84. But to have 38 get to 88, this side needs 50. Very good. Okay. So the first thing I want you guys to do is you guys are going to finish this front and back. Okay. I'm going to walk around, see how we're doing. I'm going to check at home. Those of you at home, I didn't open up the meet until kind of a little bit later. But so those of you at home, your atomic structure quiz is on Friday. It is 5 questions. However, one of the questions looks like this, which is humongous. Okay. And you will guarantee a question like this. It will have an example of the atoms, ions, and isotopes. So you do need to make sure you finish that so you know how to do all that business. You'll have a petri dish. You'll have to count. You'll have to tell me protons, neutrons, electrons, all that kind of good stuff. And anything from the notes from Monday is then fair game as well. Okay. All right. So you're working on atomic structure bell work and number 2. I'm going to walk around, see how we're doing. Walk around atomic structure bell work number 2. All right, so I see a lot of people done, so I'm just going to give up some answers here. For the next one, you're going to take nickel. Okay, this one is the only tricky one on there, so make sure you take a look at it. If you look at nickel on your periodic table, you would probably round him up to 59, which I do agree, okay, off the periodic table. However, if you're given information, for example, 30 neutrons here, you need to actually use that given information, okay? So you don't pull off the mass off the periodic table unless that's your last, avenue. So 30 plus 28 protons plus neutrons gives me a mass of 58. That's usually if somebody's going to miss something. And I'm going to put one like that on the quiz for you. So make sure you're using the given information. Okay. Phosphorus here, 15, 31, charge of 0 because my pluses and my minuses are exactly the same. Now, sometimes people are like, well, I can't figure out what this next one is. And you never want to use the mass to figure it out. However, if you have the mass and you have the number of neutrons, 13 minus 7 lets me know that I have 6 protons. And if I have 6 protons, that's the atomic number, and you know that it is carbon. So that one was also trying to be a little bit tricky. And then if I'm a +4 charge, that means I have 6 protons. I'm only allowed to have 2 electrons because +6 minus 2 gets me to +4. Aluminum, you look it up. This one's easy then. 13 gives me 13. I want to be a +3 charge here. I have 13 pluses. How many negatives can I have to get to +3? I can only have 10. And then 27 minus 13 is 14. Awesome. On the back, okay, carbon, you're looking at, chlorine, 17, 18, 17 to get an isotope of 35. This isotope, though, it has a mass of 37. So the only thing is that you just have 2 extra neutrons. Okay? Awesome. So you will see things like this on your quiz tomorrow. You will see something like this on your quiz tomorrow. You might have to be able to define ions, isotopes, tell me the parts of the periodic table, like where you find the atomic mass, all that kind of good stuff. I can also guarantee you on your test, you will look at a petri dish, and then you will have to fill in this chart, okay? So one of the first things you're going to do today is you're going to finish filling in this chart. Make sure you know how to do the full atomic symbol. Mass goes on the top. atomic number goes on the bottom, and charge goes up to the left or to the right. Then I need you to answer some post-lab questions today. Looking at your chart, once it's filled in, which represents isotopes? Okay, and I think there's a very easy one kind of at the bottom. I think it's oxygen. Maybe it's 11 and 12. They have to come in pairs. So what you would say is you would say station 11 and 12. You have to have them be in pairs. Okay, I think there's 3 sets of those. How do you know they're isotopes? They're the same element, but they have a different mass. Ions. What is the definition of an ion? And then remember, which ones are atoms? Remember, atoms have a specific definition. They have to be neutral in order to be an atom, okay? So process through the data. Tell me which of these stations are which. Then here is a chart that simply works on charges. If you're having a hard time with charges, this is kind of focused on the charges for you. So sodium has an atomic number of 11. Okay, 11 protons. And then how many electrons would you need to get a +1 charge? So this is going to help you if you're having troubles with the electrons and the charges. And then the last chart there is going to help you compare isotopes. Okay. The section that's bolded in the middle, you're going to use the mass off the periodic table. And then the one on this side is going to give you an isotope of that, okay? So it's kind of like a puzzle, figuring out where and how you use everything. We have about a half an hour remaining. So what you're going to do is you're going to finish this packet, okay? And that's going to help prepare you for your quiz on Friday. Put that back up here so you know what you're doing. If you're not done counting, that's absolutely fine. It's still in the Tuesday folder. Just so you know, if you would like to check yourself today, once you are done, this is not an invitation to copy my key. I hid the key for this in the Thursday folder. Nobody ever looks in the Thursday folder because it's usually empty. But if you would like to check yourself today, it is in the Thursday folder. Has the key to this entire packet. So you have about, okay, now it's closer to 25 minutes. You have about 25 minutes to finish this packet and make sure that you feel swell, okay? I'm going to walk around out here. I'm going to check with you guys at home. Then we're going to make sure everybody's good for the quiz on Friday. And you guys in class have a lab tomorrow. Awesome. Coming around.